This is Hognats podcast, and this is Mitsu with you. Today I'm going to speak about the things that I'm tired of listening to, and I'm tired of thinking about. So one of the things that I'm really tired of speaking to my friends and my relatives and the people I know is how to have good sleep and what is insomnia. So today I'm going to speak about sleep and sleep habits. According to some research that I've done for this podcast, they call insomnia is the inability to fall asleep or stay asleep at night, resulting in unrefreshing or non-restorative sleep. They say that it's a very common problem, so it may cause changes in your energy, your mood, your ability to function during the day, and chronic insomnia can even contribute to serious health problems. I'm going to tell about some ways to overcome this insomnia or sleep or your sleep problems, just by some tips that I've used for myself. The interesting thing with insomnia or sleep troubles is that many people cannot get asleep no matter how tired they are. For example, you've got to work and you work from 9 to 6, and then you went to a gym, and then you have a good meal and you went to sleep in an appropriate hour, but unfortunately you cannot sleep. It's a very common problem, and I have such problems for a long time. So the thing is that sometimes you are just can wake up in the middle of the night and lie awake for hours and just watch the clock or just stare on the ceiling. But the fact is that most of the times for me, I was just thinking and thinking over and over again. I couldn't just watch something. There was not like, I was so dizzy I couldn't stay awake, and at the same time I couldn't fall asleep. I think it's this is maybe the three ways of insomnia getting in your way, or some sleep troubles that you can have for a long time. But the thing is that you cannot say that insomnia is the same for everybody, because different people need different amounts of sleep, and insomnia can be defined by the quality of your sleep and not by the hours of your sleep. For example, there are many people who sleep for like 8 hours or 10 hours, but they feel drowsy and they cannot do whatever they plan to do during the day. And the most interesting thing that I wanted to speak about is that although insomnia is a very common thing, they say that it's not a single sleep disorder. There can be many other symptoms, and the biggest advice of mine is to find out the causes of insomnia and your sleeping disorders, and to see a doctor or a therapist to find a solution for that. As I've spoken about the causes of insomnia, is that many articles says that there are it can be cured with changes that you can make on your own without seeing sleep specialists or using sleeping pills. There are some simple changes that you can make in your daily habits in your sleep environment, so you can stop the frustration of insomnia and finally get a good sleep. So please try to find out, first of all, for yourself what are the causes of insomnia, and just try to figure out why you cannot sleep. For me personally, I was so depressed for a long time, and I didn't know that I have depression, and I thought that I have some physical issues, and I had headaches, I had stomach aches, and I went to see a doctor, and he told me that it's all the symptoms of depression, and that's why I cannot sleep and have a proper sleep. So I got medical treatment, and luckily now I get my good sleep. But of course, there are some emotional issues such as stress, anxiety, and depression that can cause insomnia. But they are also daytime habits, sleep routine, and physical health that can also be a part of the causes, and they play a big role in that. So try to identify, first of all, try to identify all the possible causes of your insomnia. Think about the fact that if you are under a lot of stress at home, at your job, with friends, or in your relationships, are you depressed? Do you feel emotionally flat or hopeless? Do you have what are you thinking about when you cannot sleep? Do you overthink all the things that happened in the daytime? What are you thinking about? And try to like remember all those things. Do you feel anxiety, or are you worried all the time? Like, is it going to be some a chronical thing, or you are just getting worried because of something happened, or you are just overthinking again? Sure, one of the reasons can be emotional and traumatic experience. For example, you can have nightmares and don't remember it when you wake up, so it also can be one of the causes. Another cause of insomnia can be any medication that might affect your sleep. So be careful with medication and read properly all the things that they are, all the side effects they have. And health problems interfering with sleep. For example, do you have headaches, or I don't know, they can be so many things. I'm not a doctor, to say the truth, but as I am too much worried about my health and health of my family members, I've read a lot of things, and I've consulted with many doctors about that. So, and I always try to read what the recipes of medication and what are the side effects, and the same I'm doing with when I have some health problems, what they can cause or how can they affect my body, not only in direct way but all the indirect ways also. For sure, you can also think about the sleeping environment. Is your bedroom quiet, and is your bed comfortable? Are the lights comfortable for you? Are the sheets and the pillow fresh or not? And of course, think a little bit about your bedtime habit. When you go to sleep, is it around the same time every day or not? using sleeping pills or alcohol to fall asleep can also disrupt sleep even more over the long term. Maybe the coffee you're drinking or it can make it harder to fall asleep later. For example, you've drunk in the daytime and in the evening or at night it is hard for you to fall asleep. Or other daytime habits that can negatively impact your ability to sleep at night include having an irregular sleep schedule, napping, eating sugar foods or heavy meals too close to bedtime, and not getting enough exercise or exercising too late in the day. Like if you ate something spicy or heavy before bedtime, and your digestion system cannot work properly and it needs time, so you get kind of dizzy but you cannot sleep well because of the fact that stomach still works and it needs some work to be done, like from other organs also. Like you cannot sleep, it brings again to the fact that you are feel dizzy the whole day, and you compensate it with bad habits, and it brings you to more insomnia and more sleep disorder even more. If you're having trouble identifying insomnia causing habits, maybe you can keep a sleep diary or using just the sleep tracking app. It is very helpful to pinpoint habits and behaviors contributing to your insomnia. For example, you can write down the amounts of cups of coffee, or when you have drunk water, when and or how long did you have exercises, and where have you been doing the whole day? Did you have a walk before sleep, or what did you eat? So this type of things when you wake up and when you get to bed, and how long did you sleep, and which days did you have a good sleep and have a good rest or not. You can make sure your bedroom is quite dark and cool. Noise, light, a bedroom that's too hot or too cold, or an uncomfortable mattress or pillow can all interfere with sleep. Try using a sound machine or earplugs to mask outside noise, an open window or a fan to keep the room cool, and blackout curtains or an eye mask to block out light. Experiment with different levels of mattress firmness, foam covers, and pillows that provide the support you need to sleep comfortably. For example, for me, one of the things that I've tried to do was listening to podcasts. The reason why I started this podcast was that I wanted to listen to something and fall asleep earlier, easier, but I found many interesting podcasts about interesting topics. And the thing is that my mind got focused on whatever the people were talking about there. So I wanted to have a podcast where the thing and the matter is not that interesting. And I know many of my friends said that my voice is making them want to sleep for more than 100 years. So I thought, yeah, maybe it will be cool to help people if they use the same thing as me to fall asleep. I mean, podcasts have been a popular medium for entertainment, learning, and storytelling. but I think that it's an excellent resource for helping you fall asleep. One of the main reasons podcasts are beneficial in this regard is their ability to engage our minds while allowing us to disconnect from the stressors of the day. When we struggle to sleep, our minds often race with thoughts and worries. Podcasts provide an alternative focus, diverting our attention away from those anxious thoughts. Listening to soothing voices and gentle narratives can create a comforting atmosphere that helps us unwind and relax. Another advantage of podcasts in their accessibility. With a vast array of genres and topics to choose from, you can find content that aligns with your personal interests and preferences, whether you enjoy nature sounds, guided meditation, or even bedtime stories. There's a podcast out there for everyone. So, how can you maximize the effectiveness of podcasts as a sleep aid? Here are a few tips to get you started. First of all, choose the right content. Select podcasts that have a calming and gentle tone. Look for episodes with relaxing music, peaceful stories, or guided meditation specifically designed for sleep. I know that sometimes finding some podcasts, there are a lot of them, but sometimes finding the podcast that you really need at that time is really hard. So for me, it was really hard sometimes because the bedtime stories were not that interesting and I didn't want even to listen to it. The other ones were so interesting that I couldn't fall asleep even more. So, and there were several podcasts that I found about the way that people how they are dealing with sleep, and how they get a normal good sleep. The second is to create a bedtime routine, as I already said, like incorporate listening to a sleep podcast as part of your nightly routine. Like if you, one of the things that I've added in my bedtime routine is taking a shower before sleep and and light a candle close to my bed and listen to a podcast or some sounds, mostly the nature sounds. So it helped me a lot. By establishing a consistent pattern, your mind and body will learn to associate it with relaxation and falling asleep. There are so many interesting articles that tell about the hormones that help us to fall asleep, and they they can get habits of it. Like if you do the same thing closely at the same time every day, our body makes it a habit, and this is quite an interesting thing. Also, there is a good tip as set a sleep timer. Many podcast apps allow you to set a sleep timer so the audio stops playing after a designated period. This feature ensures the podcast doesn't continue playing throughout the night, disturbing your sleep. This is also a very important thing because the voices that they are there can affect your sleeping and can affect your dreams also. So be careful what you are listening to. I think that YouTube is very useful in that case also because it turns off after a while, so you can use YouTube or those apps. And the final thing that I wanted to say is that you can experiment and adapt, explore different podcast genres and hosts to find what resonates best with you. What works for one person may not work for another. So don't be afraid to try out various options until you discover what helps you sleep most effectively. I hope my podcast can help you fall asleep better. I think that podcasts as a sleep aid is just one tool in your arsenal for better sleep hygiene. So you can use that too. The next thing that I want to suggest is turning off the screens at least an hour before bed. Like, don't go into the TV, don't watch, don't use your laptop, your computer, don't scroll way down in your phone. So just listen to some soft music, to a podcast, read something. It also is connected with hormones. If you're interested, that I can make another podcast about the hormones that help us to have a proper sleep. But for this podcast, I'm just saying that turning off all your screens will help you. Just believe me. Avoid naps, guys. Napping during the day can make it more difficult to sleep at night. If you feel like you have to take a nap, limit it to 30 minutes before 3 p.m. Just trust me. Don't sleep during the day for a long time. And avoid stimulating actively and stressful situations before bedtime. This includes checking messages on social media, big discussions or arguments with your spouse or family, or catching up on work. Postpone all those things until the morning. What you can avoid before bed is drinking too many liquids. Because you will just wake up at night to go to bathroom, and it becomes a bigger problem as we age. So just avoid that, and don't use any liquid before bedtime. Avoid alcohol, guys. I know that some of you may use alcohol as something to relax and fall asleep, but believe me, it's not. You can wake up during the night, or you can feel thirsty in the night, and you can wake up because of that. So be careful with alcohol. Avoid big evening meals, like heavy rich food within 2 hours of going to bed can cause sleeping troubles, and of course spicy and acidic food also. And our lovely caffeine cause some disorder. You cannot sleep well if you drink too much coffee or tea. So this is the things that you should avoid before the bedtime. I think it's helpful to start with that point. When you find out like you can't sleep for like 2 weeks or a month, it's quite a big amount of time, guys. You can start from changing some habits in your sleep, and if it continues, just go and see a doctor, tell them what is going on, and go to see a therapist. And finally, I want to speak about a little bit about this the time when like you're waking up in the middle of the night and you cannot sleep, fall asleep again. So many people with insomnia are able to fall asleep at bedtime, but then they wake up in the middle of the night. Many of us, we struggle to get back to sleep, and we're just lying awake or half awake for hours. So what to do? What tips are there in the whole internet that suggest us to do, and what are some tips that I did for myself? So first of all, in some articles I've read about so-called stay out of your head, it is very hard sometimes. Trying not to stress over inability to fall back asleep, or thinking about many things that happen during the day. So staying out of your head, focusing on your body and how it feels, and how you breathe. So I can teach you so-called square breathing, which helped me a lot. So it looks like this. Keep the breath. And keep your breath again until you count 4. Do this like from 15 to 20 times, and you can see how you're getting relaxed and your mind is going into the moment, and you can feel your body much more better than you were feeling that. Or you can do grounding exercises, like you can concentrate your mind, your focus on your starting from your feet, and ending with your head and your forehead. So try to do that, and I think it can be very helpful. Just relax, visualize some things for yourself, good things, of course. Meditate if it helps you. And all of these things you can do without even getting out of bed, and you can see like how your body and mind are relaxing. And the last thing that I wanted to give you as advice, if you're like awake for more than 20 minutes, go do some quiet activity, like read something or listen to something, for example, a podcast. And I think it will help. And again, focus on your breathing and on your body, and postpone some brainstorming and ideas. Don't catch the ideas, just let them come and get through your head, through your mind, and stay relaxed. And I hope all those tips can help you have a good sleep. I think that there are many people who are also tired of not getting proper sleep as me. And I hope you guys, I hope this podcast could somehow help you not only to get a sleep from my voice, but also to find some interesting and useful practices you can do in daytime or before bedtime to have a proper and good sleep. Staying tired is not a good thing, but I think that sometimes it helps to have new ideas. So I wish you are tired of many things, because it opens a new perspective in life. Stay tuned, guys, and I hope we can meet again and talk about some other things that I'm tired and you are tired too. Thank you for listening, and have a good sleep. Bye.